and welcome to the second part of our very, very Christmas extravaganza, brought to you by two Jews and an atheist. I am Jessie, one of said Jews, and I am joined by Courtney, the other Jew, and Tara, the Canadian atheist, or as we call her, a Canatheist. In part one, we spoke to Joan Stevenson about the making of Matt's crowdsourced Christmas song, so be sure to give it a listen if you haven't already.
And what would a Matt Berry Christmas episode be without discussing cult classic rock opera ADBC? Today, we're going to be doing something a bit different. It may be chaotic, but I think it'll be fun. But first, let's get into some background on ADBC and its primary inspiration, Jesus Christ Superstar.
Anyone who knows anything about Matt's musical inspirations will know that the original concept album for Jesus Christ Superstar is a foundational musical touchstone for him. He's spoken in numerous interviews about his love for the album and its influence on his later work. In 2010, he even had the opportunity to interview Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice on BBC's Culture Show.
In the AM/PM playlist that Matt did on Spotify in September of 2016, he said, I've always had a love for the sort of concept album, and usually coming into them without knowing what the hell they were or who had actually made them. So I came across this concept album, the Jesus Christ Superstar. I just thought it was a rock album, and I didn't know who Lloyd Webber or Tim Rice were. So I sort of listened to it as a 14-year-old or whatever, just to hear the guy from, Deep Purple in a different band. I thought, this will be good. He's got all these other players. It's Joe Cocker's band and him. It's going to be good, this. And I listened to it, and it was extraordinary, and it frightened the shit out of me. And it still does. It's amazing. Fantastic stuff, and a huge accident, I think. For Lloyd Webber, I don't know. I don't know. I might be doing him sort of a disservice, but yeah, so that album was a huge deal. Same with, War of the Worlds, exactly the same thing. Just a pair of headphones around my uncle's because, he had it.
So in July of 2018, Matt Berry did an interview on nationalalbumday.co.uk, and he said, "When I first heard this album as a youngster, after being frightened by the film, I hadn't got a clue who Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice were. It was just a thing, a terrifying thing at that, but just a record with a solemn brown cover, interrupted with a stark, simple gesture of an angel logo on the front, which, like Tubular Bells," of course he's referencing Tubular Bells, "gave nothing away as to who featured on this album or who made it. Jesus Christ Superstar's influence on Matt's work has resonated beyond the obvious homage we're about to watch. In 2018, he said, "During particularly frustrating and difficult times in my life, I've often imagined the effect it would have if I had the ability to suddenly vocalize my point in song, backed with a scorching, heavy rock outfit, accentuated by the London Philharmonic Orchestra with full religious choir."
This is a concept that he has carried over into his TV work, particularly Toast of London. And speaking of TV work, the reason we're here today, ADBC. In 2004, Matt, who is still a new face to British television, collaborated with fellow comedian Richard Ayoade to create a modern epic. ADBC aired once on BBC Three on December 21st, 2004, and still has never been shown again. It did receive a DVD release in November 2007, after many of the talent involved had become comedy household names. About how he managed to get this project made in the first place, Matt told Left Lion blog in 2016,
"From what I remember, the BBC wanted 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps to do a Christmas musical, and I don't think they could be bothered. There was a slot there, and they said, 'Do you want to do something?' There's hardly any money. I took advantage of that."
That said, in a August 2007 article on Bearded Magazine, ADBC was something I came up with and actually offered to the BBC. It just so happened that they had a 50-piece band to do the BBC Three Christmas special, but because it was such a small amount of money they were offering, everybody else basically turned them down flat, saying, "We can't do it for this. We can't even pay for 2 actors. But because I wanted to do something and the chance was there, I said yes." "And you did it in the budget, clearly," the interviewer asks. "Oh, it cost nothing. No one made any money, and not many people saw it." He then laughs in his trademark style, which I know we can all picture. The interviewer asks, "Was it a case then of simply getting all your mates in to do it?" "Of course, because there was no cash. I couldn't get actors in that I didn't know because they would want paying."
In the same interview, Matt was asked, "So what inspired you to move away from the comical musical aspects of ADBC and turn it to the more serious aspects of Opium?" He replied, "None of it is serious. I mean, there is serious intent, but I'm not that serious. I don't feel that most of the songs on ADBC would be out of place in Opium." And then, and this part is heartbreaking to me, he was asked, "The future. New album for the end of this year, hopefully. Is ADBC going to get a release as well? He replied, it is, yes. We have plenty of ideas for it. We're hoping to have a gatefold album with a lengthened audio version of ADBC plus the DVD. It should be in the shops October or November time. This was in 2007.
2007 and we're still waiting.
No official release outside of the DVD.
Right. How amazing would that have been? I can't even, like, I'm so heartbroken that never happened because I was so excited. I just got the DVD. I just ordered it off of eBay and I opened it and I pulled out the booklet. And the booklet is the whole script. It's word for word the entire script of ADBC. And I was so excited.
Matt, if you're listening, or Richard Ayoade, if you're listening. Maybe Richard Ayoade is a fan.
Yeah.
We don't know that he's not. If either of you are listening, it's not too late.
Yeah.
I know a lot of time has gone by, but this rock opera still has a following, and we would love to hear that extra audio.
It has a huge cult following. And, you know, I guess we should probably just mention, I don't know if anybody who is a fan of Matt's doesn't know who Richard Ayoade is, but he was in The Mighty Boosh, and also his probably most famous role was Moss in the IT Crowd. So he also did
Dark Place.
Yeah,
and Disenchanted,
obviously. Dark
and
Place.
Coming up soon, Crapopolis.
Right, where it all started, Dark Place. How could I forget that? That's
Man to Man with Dean Lerner was
and Man to Man with Dean Lerner. Underappreciated.
Yeah.
I don't think I've still watched
So
that whole
funny.
thing.
It's good.
Yeah, but I
It's good,
absolutely love him. He's hilarious. If you've never watched Travel Man or Gadget Man, most of them are on Amazon Prime and on YouTube. They're hilarious, so definitely watch them. He's a character.
And has amazing
Yes, he
comedic
is.
interplay with Matt. They don't collaborate so much nowadays, but for a while they were really working together pretty frequently and played off each other so smoothly.
Right,
Yeah.
because he and Matthew Holness were the ones that championed Channel 4 for Matt to play Sanchez on Dark Place because nobody knew who he was. And
His first
they're like,
acting role.
Yeah, it was his first like actual acting role, and they were like, no, we want this guy. So, you know, it's because of him and Matthew Holness that we even know who Matt Berry is, probably. So thank you, Richard Ayoade, for that. He co-wrote, I think, the lyrics of ADBC with Matt, and also he directed it. He's a really accomplished director. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie he directed called Submarine. It's really fantastic. He also did another one called The Double with Jesse Eisenberg, which is really strange, but really hauntingly beautiful. So I recommend both of those.
I don't know why I was thinking Squid and the Whale was him, but I
That
guess
was
it
Noah
wasn't.
Baumbach.
Yeah, he's also an accomplished
Oh.
author, and
Nice. You were right there.
yeah, not a lot that he doesn't do. The only thing we're not sure if he does is sing in ADBC.
We were debating this before we started recording, and if anyone has ever Googled ADBC, we're not the only ones. There's a lot of speculation just around the internet on whether he sings in this rock opera. I don't want to call it a TV show because it's a rock opera. His character sings. Doesn't really sound much like him. It's really pretty impossible to say if he's putting on a voice or if it's dubbed in. And of course that opens the question, if it is dubbed in, who is
sings?
this mystery
Yeah.
vocalist?
For all it's worth, I do think it's him. I don't know. I've just always assumed it was him, so in my head, that's canon. It's him.
I think he does have
He's like
some...
putting on a deep voice.
I think he does have some musical chops. I remember seeing one episode of Travel Man where they're staying in this like weird hotel somewhere, and every room has a different music theme, and you could order musical instruments up to your room. And he got an electric guitar ordered up to his room, and he was kind of just jamming on it for a few minutes. So I think he can at least play the guitar. I don't know what
really?
else. Yeah. I don't know if there's other musical things that he does.
It's really fun to think of Matt and Richard kind of bonding over this shared love for Jesus Christ Superstar and then deciding to do this project.
Yes.
Which at the time had no like distribution. Like this was a labor of love for them. They didn't know that this was going to go anywhere, presumably.
Right. I just think that would be so awkward because they're very different, but they're also kind of similar, I think, in personality. They're both kind of introverted and awkward and shy. And the difference is that they do completely different things. Like Richard Ayoade never ever does interviews, and Matt does do interviews. And Richard Ayoade doesn't seem to do a lot of like actual acting anymore, but he does like all of the panel shows and the quiz shows and stuff. And Matt never does that stuff. So
Unless
like
he's dressed
I
as
know,
Vangelis.
yeah.
right,
Vangelis.
right. They have like similar personalities, yet they're extremely the way their paths have gone has been completely different. And it would
Well,
be
the way they've
Mhm.
kind of built on those personalities has been so different. Like,
Mhm.
Richard really, he's one of the archetypal pop culture geeks at this point, right? Like, Moss is an iconic character.
Yeah.
And he's really leaned into that awkwardness to the point where sometimes it's hard to find the separation between Richard and the characters he plays. Whereas
Yeah.
Matt is very shy, very unassuming in real life, from what we can tell, but plays these bombastic, kind of loud, demonstrative characters. It's like he just totally taps into another side of himself.
Yeah, exactly. He's like the polar opposite of the characters that he plays. Courtney and I are both really big fans of the Jesus Christ Superstar concept album. And it's something where we've listened to it a bunch, but neither one of us, actually the three of us, none of us had ever seen the 1973 movie. We've only listened to the concept album, which is kind of the same as how I have approached Hamilton. Like I became obsessed with the Hamilton soundtrack, having never seen the show. Then when it finally came on Disney Plus, I was not disappointed. It was amazing. So now I am like dying to see the show. I almost got to see it on Broadway, and then I had to cancel that trip, and I was so bummed. So yeah,
Stupid pandemic.
Yeah. So we decided to bite the bullet and watch the 1973 version of Jesus Christ Superstar. We did it together. We just kind of chatted while we were watching it. And holy crap, this movie is so fucking crazy. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it exactly. It's a lot.
It was an experience. It was an experience, yeah.
A little
and it was
bit of a
really
fever
fun
dream.
to watch it together.
Yeah, a fever
Yeah,
dream.
exactly. That's a good description.
That's like the best description of it. So I don't know if nobody's seen it. I mean, we're not going to go into huge detail, but we mainly wanted to watch it because we wanted to see what was spoofed specifically from the movie in the show.
Yeah.
We knew the music was similar, and we assumed that the show, we assumed that there were similarities, but we weren't sure exactly what. So after watching it, we realized exactly how brilliant of a spoof ADBC is. It's so good. It just gives you a whole new appreciation for it. So if you can suffer through the, hour and 45 minutes of Jesus Christ Superstar, I kind of feel like
we recommend doing a watch party. Bring some friends, do a watch party, because it makes it bearable. Because, like, stuff happens, and we're like, what the fuck am I seeing right now?
I have to admit, I'm kind of obsessed with it now.
I rewatched it again last night, and I think it grew on me the second time.
It really does.
Aww.
It goes all in.
Oh my god.
It does not hold back, and I appreciate it for that.
Yes, I mean, it starts with a bus full of hippies in the desert.
It's so
And
weird.
it
I'm
just
like, how
gets
is this
freaking
progressing?
weirder and weirder from there. I don't know. It's
King
so bad.
Herod's song is something that you have to see to fully absorb. Words wouldn't do it justice.
I
so we
saw
won't try.
that. I saw that on Reddit probably within the last 2 years. And I don't even know if I 100% knew that it was from Jesus Christ Superstar, but I watched it 3 times in a row, which, in the internet age, that's a lot. That's a lot to pay attention to something. And then when I saw it again on when we were watching the Jesus Christ Superstar, I was like, oh my god. Like, this is the thing. I like made my husband watch it. I was like, we have to watch whatever crazy movie this is from. Like, it is so weird. It is so bizarre. It was amazing.
Completely out of left field. It is like a fever dream within a fever dream. And it does it. I mean, if you're familiar with the soundtrack, you'll know the song. It's very upbeat. It's like a break from the heaviness of the rest of the music. This part of the movie it fits it perfectly. It is bonkers.
I think I messaged both of you. These are the hippies who discovered cocaine first.
Yeah.
It's totally nuts. It's like the costumes are somewhere between like the Hunger Games, like the people that live in the city, and Elton John, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's very like early 70s glam rock.
Yeah.
Like they have the curls and the face paint. And
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The whole movie just kind of the weirdness, the hippies, the grunginess, and the whole thing is just the early 70s. Like
the dancing.
The dancing, the
Yeah.
exaggerated dancing. It's insane.
And then Jesus, the guy who plays Jesus in the movie, he actually married one of the dancers from that scene. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
Take your pick. But he actually married one of them.
the guy
And
that
made
played,
a career.
right, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Is that what you were going to say? Made a career out of playing Jesus for years after. I think he's still playing
He's in his
Jesus.
70s and he's still playing the same role. It's insane.
Guys, I'm really sorry he's dead.
What? He
I'm
died?
so sorry to break this
No,
to you.
Jesus.
He's dead, yeah.
Jesus is, well,
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of depends on your views, I suppose. But
Wait,
No,
wait.
he's dead.
I'm confused. The actor
I'm
is
positive
dead?
he's dead. The actor is dead. Both of them
Oh.
are dead. Jesus and the actor.
Well, I was
Really?
confident
Ted
that
Neely?
Jesus was. I just looked on
Yeah.
IMDb and it didn't say that he died unless he died recently.
I think I Googled it and it
I
was...
mean,
he's alive.
Let's
He's
take a
79.
Google break. Uh-oh.
Tara.
But my facts might be wrong. I might be like...
All right.
He's Texan.
No.
if he's dead, I'm sorry for his family. If he's alive, I'm sorry that
Ted
we...
Neely, I'm sweet.
Tried
He's definitively alive.
Yay!
Okay, well, that's
Jesus
I'm glad
lives.
to hear that. So, to be fair, then I'm not actually sure who the hell I'm talking about. Who married the dancer? In
No,
that?
I think he did. I'm pretty sure I saw that on IMDb.
Okay.
The guy that played
Okay,
Judas
so I was
is
right
dead.
about that one thing.
The guy that played Judas
oh,
died.
maybe that's.
Did he?
Yeah,
I do get crazy with
died pretty young.
Wikipedia, so maybe I like.
I think he was like in his 50s.
Well, that's too bad.
Aw.
Yeah.
He gave it his all. That was an
Yes.
intense performance.
I mean, my favorite song from Jesus Christ Superstar is Heaven on Their Minds. It's sung by Murray Head, and it is just a jam. Like, it goes all out. There's just tempo changes and all kinds of different things happening with this song, and I listen to it on a loop. I absolutely love it. And when we first started
Aw.
watching, because that's like the first actual song from, other than the overture, it's the first actual song from the album, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be into this. This guy is no Murray Head. But as it went on, he did pretty well. It was just that one because it wasn't exactly the same as it is, and I always have a problem with that when somebody does something not exactly the same as it was done originally. But
Yeah.
he was good as Judas, I thought. And let's be
Guys,
honest.
I just wanted to say that I'm glad that he's not dead. just so we're all on the same page. I'm glad that Ted Neely's not dead.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that
So.
up.
I mean, I'm not sure that he's much of an actor. I'm going to just
No.
kind of be controversial and say that. But
It was
that's
Yeah,
not something you
wasn't
deserve
great.
death for.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
no.
That's so funny. But yeah, so, and then there's a lot of songs that are in the movie that were not on the album. They made them specifically for either the movie or the Broadway show. I'm not really sure which it is. But
For the
they're-
movie.
It was for the
according
movie.
to IMDb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and those songs are very forgettable as far as I'm concerned.
Uh-oh.
So, and, speaking of Judas, like, let's be honest, I feel like he was the true hero of that story. I don't know
He
what.
was so good.
Like, whatever it is that they did with Jesus's character, they made him so unlikable somehow. Like,
He's just very
Oh my god,
it's
yeah.
like so whiny.
whiny, and to call someone dramatic in this movie feels... It's a very dramatic movie, and yet he is so extra.
He's so extra.
Guys,
Other
do you
than-
remember the market scene?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, other than King Herod's scene,
It's the temple, Tara, the temple.
the temple, I mean, so he goes in just randomly. These people are just having a lovely flea market. I mean, they're having
Flea
a
market
lovely...
with hookers and weapons dealers,
Well,
but
whatever. I
Yeah.
mean,
flea
it
market
was a
nonetheless.
market. It
Whatever
was a
floats your
market,
boat.
and they were having a lovely time. Everyone was, buying things. There was commerce happening. And then Jesus
Dancing.
fucking comes in, and he smashes everything, totally unprovoked, and just starts smashing things. And I'm like, wow, that was like a super temper tantrum. And then he went and met up with some lepers, and he's like, listen, I can't heal all of you. And he was just like started crying, and I was like, dude, come on now. It was a lot.
It wasn't very Jesus-like of him, honestly,
Right?
to like just destroy. Jesus led by example. He wasn't about to go into a super fun market and be like, fuck your like guns and bread and like these hookers. Like, he wouldn't have done that. That's
I'm
not
not
the Jesus
a biblical
we know
scholar,
and
but I'm
love.
pretty sure he does do that in the Bible.
Does he?
Really?
Doesn't he like go
I don't
in
think
and like
so.
denounce the moneylenders at the temple?
Really?
Oh, maybe, but he was
Oh.
very like lead by example-y, like do as like whatever. I don't know.
We're about
I'm
to
pretty
find
sure.
out if any of our
Yeah.
fan base goes to church.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna like this episode if they do.
It's been a long time since I went to church.
Because
That's
I'm
for
like,
sure.
I don't know. This, like, all of this is like, I have no idea if this is if this is factual or not. I mean, does anybody really know?
Well, that's the whole question. That's the whole question. But I was raised Catholic, so I like remember all this stuff. I remember the Stations of the Cross, like I remember the lepers, and I remember like all this stuff. I totally forgot that Judas kills himself in the end. In my mind, I totally remember a teacher telling me that Judas hung himself and then the rope broke because God wanted to save him and offer forgiveness. So that like stuck in my mind. And so when like Judas just straight up died in the end, spoilers, sorry,
But
I was like really surprised.
did he die?
I'm pretty sure if you hang yourself and the rope breaks, then you strangle. Like, then that means
I
the
don't
noose
know.
tightens around your neck and you choke to death.
Well, I mean,
Well,
unless
usually it breaks
before
your
you
neck,
choke.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's
But also,
that's how
like,
it does it.
did he actually die? Because he did get on the bus with the rest of the hippies at the end and drove off into the sunset. So, I mean, I don't really know if he did die. She still could
That
be
was
right.
so weird.
I don't know anything about it, to be honest. I mean,
It was so
not my
weird. When the
forte.
bus came again, I had like forgotten about the bus in the beginning, and then when the bus showed up again, I was like, "What the fuck is with the bus?"
I think there's
Like,
a
what
point
is this?
during the Last Supper song where Judas actually tells Jesus to cut the dramatics, because Jesus is doing this whole like, who's going to betray me? Is it you?
Right, yeah.
Maybe it's you. And I wanted to cheer during that lyric.
But also, I just wanted to point out that during the Last Supper scene, they actually pose for the Last Supper, like in Da Vinci's painting The Last Supper. They have a pose where they are posed like the Last Supper. I mean, if that's not ultimate cheese, I don't know what is.
It was a little on the nose.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then they all fall asleep with all their food out.
Right? That's the
Yeah,
point when you're like,
as you do.
guys, that's how you get bears.
How you get bears.
I still can't stop laughing. They fell asleep at a picnic with all their food out. Courtney's worried about attracting bears.
And ants. You have
And
to
ants,
be concerned
yeah.
about this
I was
stuff.
thinking about ants. I was not concerned about bears.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. And so there are a lot of similarities between the two. We'll go into it a little bit more in a little bit, but I just wanted to circle back to the King Herod's thing in Hamilton and the fact that King Herod is so over the top. I'm actually, when I was watching it, I was wondering if that was Lin-Manuel Miranda's inspiration for King George, because King George is a little bit flamboyant, and he's
Camp.
very over the top. Yeah, he's kind of camp. He's over the top, and I actually wondered if that was some of his inspiration for King George in
Interesting.
Hamilton.
Did we not see that apparently on the Broadway production, King Herod was played by a drag queen?
Yes, I think I saw that on IMDb also.
I don't know if that's like standard for productions. I'm sure someone can chime in and tell us.
I don't know. I recognize the guy that played him in the movie though right away. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's actually the only actor that was recognizable to me.
Okay, so all that having been said, let's get into, and this is what we were talking about earlier, it's kind of a unique in that we are going to actually play the entirety of ADBC. And an important thing to mention before we do this is that all of our podcasts are very heavily edited by Jessie. We go on tangents, we screw up words, we have to restart. They are very heavily edited. She does a great job. So this is not going to be edited at all whatsoever. So our apologies in advance, because it might get weird. It might be bad. We don't actually know. We're just
It'll
going to do
definitely
it.
get weird. Let's just say.
Yeah.
This is going to
Yeah.
get weird. So we'll put a link to the version that we're gonna watch it's on YouTube. The whole thing's on YouTube. So we'll put a link to the YouTube version that we're gonna watch, and we'll give you a countdown if you'd like to do a watch along with us. We're basically gonna just commentate through the whole thing. That's what we're gonna do.
Our scintillating insights.
Yeah, our insights, which I'm sure you cannot wait to hear.
We don't know how this is going to go. We have no idea how this
It
is going
could
to
be
happen.
a huge success or a terrible failure. Well, I guess we'll just wait and see.
If this is anyone's first intro to ADBC, we are glad you're here and we're overjoyed that you've discovered it. And seriously, go listen to it without our prattling over it, because it is a work of genius.
Maybe go watch it.
Yeah.
Pause this, go watch it, and then come back and listen to our commentary, because it really deserves your full attention. It really is brilliant. Anyways, are we ready to do this?
ADBC.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but
It'll be fun though.
let's do it. Yeah, it'll be good.
All right, so we're gonna give a countdown. There's a countdown within the movie too. It counts down from 5, I think. So we will start. Are you guys ready?
Yeah,
Ready
so
as
we
I'm
all
gonna
have the
be.
same version, 28 minutes, 21 seconds.
We're all synced
Do we
up.
have the Atos 4K?
That's the one I'm.
That's the one? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So ready? I'm gonna give a 3, 2, 1, and then there's an additional countdown within the movie. So ready? 3, 2, 1, play. I love this so much. The jacket is everything. Oh, and this part where he closes the lid and locks it and puts the key in his pocket.
Perfect.
So random.
Such a
Cracks me
perfect
up every
character
time.
touch, though. Like, it tells you exactly who this character is somehow.
Yeah. A control freak. Is London Camden even a real thing?
Uh-huh. Camden
is?
is a really trendy neighborhood in London.
It's just the way he says it, upstairs London Camden. I'm like, is that real?
Like, what is this all about, though? Him doing this fake little thing? Is it referencing something? Like him pretending to be the composer guy, Tim Wind?
I don't know. I like how the audio glitches here too.
Yeah.
It was coming right off of Dark Place, and I think it was kind of a similar conceit to Dark Place, where it's this rediscovered lost
Footage,
classic. They
yeah.
really go all in on that in the extra feature too.
Matt Lucas.
No, Lucas.
Yeah. We will.
Dramatic stare.
I love that.
Can I just say that this song lives rent-free in my head?
Yes, absolutely. It's so good.
So good.
Also, his outfit in this is like a direct reference to Jesus Christ Superstar, because other than the deep V, it's basically the exact same thing that Jesus wore
Yeah.
in the movie.
And I'm glad that Matt did the deep V.
Yes.
It's doing him lots of favors.
He never shies away from a deep V.
No, the man is fond
No.
of his V-necks.
And the straightened hair is like everything. The slow walk
I just
away.
love the random Noel Fielding. It's great. Like, he doesn't have a big part at all. He's just kind of there.
Isn't he one of the shepherds later on?
He's like, yeah, he's his shepherds.
He's a couple different roles. He's just there. He was like one of the buddies, so they're like, we need you to do 4 different roles, and he's like, no problem.
So this
I don't
zoom
need to
in,
talk.
3 pans.
the three consecutive stolen straight from Jesus Christ Superstar.
As are these dance moves, I
Yes,
think. As
the
far as I can
dance
tell,
moves-
these are exactly the same dance
Yep.
moves.
They have that one big dance scene in the movie and they do the big circle. So
oh
of
my
course,
god, this song though.
the
I
signature song.
just love this song so much. It's beautiful. It's just
It's
his
too good for
live
this movie.
album. Yeah.
But a lot of the music is though.
Now, I didn't notice until we watched Jesus Christ Superstar that these freeze frames are taken from the movie too.
Yep.
They're in the Simon Zealot scene.
Yep.
And Julian Barrett's outfit there is basically Pontius Pilate.
Yes.
Mhm.
Julian Barrett was like the best possible person to play that role.
He's really good. And like, this is just, I remember watching this. I don't think obviously when it just came out, because it was years later, but this is like Matt for me. Like peak Matt. I don't
Oh,
know. He was
God.
just so young and
So young,
I'm gonna
so
say it,
new
he
to
was
being
hot. he was
on
hot.
TV.
Right.
I mean, I know we talked about this
Yeah.
in the intro, but like this was his second TV appearance ever. I think this was before the Boosh. Maybe the Boosh was taped.
I think it was
but-
kind of simultaneous, but I don't know if it like aired yet, but I think they kind of did it at the same time. So I don't know who some of these people are, but that's, obviously Rich Fulcher.
Rich Fulcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is, but he looks familiar.
Those leaps.
I
That
love
guy's
that.
definitely
Yeah.
supposed to be Simon from the movie. Ugh.
Yeah, we won't mention
Yeah.
him.
No. Because he's done a lot of good stuff, but he is fucked.
This is before he was nuts, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad when people you really admire turn into people you really hate.
So also this tree that they have as this prop is very similar to the one that was in Jesus Christ Superstar. And of course, you know, the obligatory noose, because it wouldn't be a Matt Berry flick without a noose.
Yeah.
You know, I
Some
never
random
really thought
thing.
of that.
Yeah.
It's true.
So funny. I think it's so funny that Matt Lucas is in this because they never really did anything else. And I was a fan of Matt Lucas for a really, really long time. Like going back from Little Britain and Little Britain USA. I think he's freaking hysterical. Now he's on Bake Off of all things with Noel. So that they came full circle. So I just think it's so funny.
It's kind of an obvious joke, but still a really good joke that he keeps exclaiming Christ.
Yes. Exclaiming, I know. Christ, I know. I laugh every time.
I mean,
he does
sometimes
it.
you gotta go for the low-hanging
I
fruit.
know. This
Yeah.
is full of
Oh, I
low-hanging
love
fruit.
this scene.
Speaking
I
of
love
Christ.
this scene.
Yeah.
This is pretty shameless that they just straight up lifted Proud Mary.
Yeah, I kind of did. I didn't even think about that. How freaking
yeah.
adorable is Richard Iowati in this? Like,
He is so attractive.
a
He's
full-
such an attractive man, and this is a good look.
It really is. This is such a good look for him. Like, the kind of the scraggly beard a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, the wilder hair. He's so freaking cute in this. I don't know what it
Guys,
is.
I'm gonna say it 100,000%. That is Richard singing. I'm just gonna say it. I want to know who agrees
don't
with me,
know.
but like that is Richard.
I really don't know.
I'm gonna tell
Oh,
you.
this
I'm gonna
joke-
meet him one day and ask him.
This show cracks me up.
Yeah.
Women.
It's giving
I went
Lost
looking
vibes
for
sure.
GIFs of this special, and that was the only one I could find. That's the most gift moment.
It's
So
a good
funny.
one. I do want to find out if it's him though, because I just
I
want to be
know,
able
I
to
would
be
love to
like,
know.
yeah.
Now, we were wondering
sounds
if that
like him.
donkey sculpture is a reference to anything. It's not a reference to Jesus Christ Superstar, but, you know, they pulled from some other films, too. Might be a deep cut we're missing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
recognize it.
Now, this guitar riff is straight from Heaven on Their Minds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the hats that they're wearing, too, is like from Jesus Christ Superstar. There was a scene where they're wearing like black hats that are similar to that. Like
From The
bathing-
Arrest.
Yeah.
I never noticed they have a poinsettia on the back, which is like obviously
Yeah,
a
me
very
too. I never noticed that
Christmassy
either.
thing.
And
I get one
Kind
every
of a-
Christmas.
90s era desk ornament. What's with those perpetual motion balls?
They're in so many scenes, too. It's
And
just
is
really
that
funny.
coffee?
never noticed.
Taffy? Is that...
I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah.
The desk, that lamp is like super retro early 90s, too. Oh,
I love the lamps. I actually I love mid-century stuff, and I want those lamps really badly. This is my honestly.
Flowchart
This
in
is
the
like
back.
my favorite scene. This is just so good.
Julian Barrett is someone else who's, as far as I can tell, not kind of retired from comedy. I think he's done
Yeah.
some more dramatic stuff. But
Mhm.
he apparently is a pretty accomplished jazz musician himself.
Oh,
Which
I
is
didn't know that.
referenced in the Mighty Boosh quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in a couple of things recently. He's had small parts.
Trying to think of the show he did with. I think it was Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
It was
It was so good.
it's on my playlist of something. I can't remember what it's called though. But I think that was part of the reason
I watched the
wanna
whole
watch
thing.
it.
I think there was 2 seasons,
think
and
it's
I
on
really liked
Hulu.
it. Because like him
Yeah.
older, right? Because now
The-
he's a bit older, and
the
yeah.
high singing.
Yeah,
straight from Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah. We were watching it and we were like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, we're like, there it is.
He does that twice in Jesus Christ Superstar, in the temple, and then I think in the Last Supper too. Jesus gets two very dramatic.
There's a couple of them. Oh, this is coming up on one of my other favorite things in this movie because it cracks me up. It's so stupid.
He basically kind of made this song about it. He's like, get out, get out. And then it's like, it's such a thing in Jesus Christ Superstar, the whole get out thing. It was great. It was like,
hurry up for Christ's sake.
I thought it was amazing. I'm trying really hard not to sing this, guys. I just want you to know.
This.
I have to say, Julia Davis is kind of the unsung hero of heroine of really this show in a lot of ways. She is so good.
Yeah. Her facial expressions are so funny.
And she's a pretty great singer in and of herself.
I don't really know anything about her.
She's Julian Barrett's partner, I believe. They've been together for several decades now, like since this point. That.
I didn't know that. Now everybody knows that who's listening.
See, this is the sort of thing that I would typically pause and fact check, but
we can't do that.
We can't.
Yeah, I'm just kind of going off half-remembered facts from the top of my head, so...
Oh,
might be, she says we might be spewing bullshit. We don't know.
A disgrace. What? And he's like, a what?
Oh no, she didn't.
The hair flip.
Oh, the hair flip.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
His hair is so silky in this.
I know, like it's so good.
Look on her face.
I love that. Oh my god.
This
is like the best part.
Yeah. He closes the door, and then
he's like, oh shit.
And he just like turns around. He's like, oh, whoops.
No, I think that's honestly genius. Like, this is just one of those little things that doesn't seem big, but it's so good.
It just speaks to the low budgetness.
Yeah.
And it just makes it that much better. Because it was definitely on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
So we mentioned that as we were watching Jesus Christ Superstar, and then we watched this back to back, we were trying to kind of see the parallels. And I think that this scene is sort of riffing on the Last Supper duet between Christ and Judas, which is kind of hilarious.
Oh, it could be. I didn't think
of them sort of singing emotionally to each other.
Yeah.
Both very,
so if
very
anybody's
emotive.
listening to this and hasn't watched it, and you appreciate ADBC, you have to watch Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think the biggest thing is that we all came out from it thinking, oh my god, I wish they had done an hour or an hour and a half for ADBC because there was so many hilarious things that they should have ripped off.
Yeah, I agree. It does make you appreciate how perfect of a spoof this actually is.
Yeah. No, it really did. Like, I've watched this almost every Christmas for the past probably 10 or 12 years. And I can't believe I never watched Jesus Christ Superstar. And then the slow-mo of the hands opening.
The freeze frames with her with the crazy expressions on her faces are so funny.
Because they're not flattering.
No, they're not.
No.
It's beautiful.
I mean, he frames himself in flattering poses.
His are pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, Matt. That's not fair.
Dramatic turn to the camera.
Yeah.
God, it's just such a good song.
And she gets on the tree phone.
Yeah.
But this is also because in the movie there's all kinds of modern things mixed in with ancient things. Like there's tanks
and fucking bus!
Jet planes and machine guns.
Yes.
But then it's not, it's back to regular. So this is also
it's a good nod.
Crossover, yeah.
Yeah. And you wouldn't know unless you watched Jesus Christ Superstar, and then you're like, yeah, that fits in with that nonsense.
This is always, it reminds me of the low budget stage shows that they used to do, that they used to air on PBS in the early, in the 80s, I guess, maybe the 90s, I don't know. But they were always just kind of very bare bones and kind of a black stage with very minimal props. And that's kind of what this reminds me of, just those really low budget stage performances.
Matt
yeah,
has
I
talked
feel
about
like I
those.
saw Hamlet like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Matt's talked about those kind of minimalist performances with the very over-the-top, bold theatrical performances, acting performances being a big influence on his style.
You just missed one of my
You can
favorite
tell.
lines of the movie is when he says,
Oh, no.
time moves like a menstruous woman or something like that, ebbs and flows.
No one can
Yeah.
control her eddying currents.
Yes.
He is quite a poet.
Now, this is one
I
of
just
the
love
most
how long
low-key,
this goes.
low-key funny lines about how he thinks about her all the time, even when he's making love.
I mean, that's kind of what you want, but
I love this part. I love this song. I love how it changes from this into something different. I love his over-exaggerated hand motions.
Mhm. Direct stare at the camera.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know we're obviously fangirls, but he really is such a confident performer. He's just
Yeah.
completely...
Just the way you think about it, the fact that he really hadn't
Yeah.
done anything before this, and he's just such a natural at it.
Just owning it, yeah.
Mhm. Totally owning it, exactly. Momo and Jive, direct reference to What's the Buzz? This is his version of What's the Buzz.
What's the Buzz is my favorite song, by the way, from that. It was amazing.
So
It's been
good.
stuck
See, I
in my
kind of
head.
heard, like, Damn for All Time in the music.
I don't know.
And then this scene of him on the rocks is probably, aside from the intro song, maybe one of the most direct parody lifts. in
Especially
here.
this part where they show the freeze frames of the,
Yes.
the innkeepers and the B&Bs. In the movie, they, instead, where they do this part with the inlays, they do pictures of the crucifixion.
Yeah.
Which in
It is
itself
so
is
good.
absolutely
it is so good.
ridiculous, but just the fact
Yeah.
that they changed it to innkeepers and B&Bs is freaking genius.
The thing is, Jesus Christ Superstar desperately needed a spoof, a parody, a satire to be made
Well,
of
they
it.
got one.
But it's the sad thing is it's only 30 minutes. Like, it really
it
needed to be so much longer. There were way stupider hats that needed to be made fun of.
I don't get that where he's just like, hello? Like, it just cuts right to this. Was he dreaming?
Yeah. And it's exactly like Jesus Christ Superstar where it's all sung. There's no
Yeah.
dialogue
I mean, it's
outside
like
of the song.
Typical musical.
Oh, see, I don't watch very many musicals that are like all singing.
They tend to
I
annoy
have to
me.
say. I like Grease. That's my kind of musical.
Different.
Yeah, a little bit different.
I mean, Hamilton is sung through.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I've never seen it. I've just heard some of the songs.
Oh, Tara.
It's fantastic.
It's on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. I do have Disney Plus.
Their banter
And like
here
when he
is so
calls him
funny.
Joe.
So, that isn't anything I recognized as a reference until we watched the movie, but after we did, I'm pretty sure that's a reference to Betray Me with a Kiss. He kind of delivers the kiss part in this, like, very high,
Yeah.
shrill... like that.
Taliesin Hot.
Oh, it's something.
What is he talking to in that part when he walks away? I've never even noticed that before. Is this kind of like Pontius Pilate's part where he's just sort of he's kind of like talk singing sort of in his the first time you really see him?
Yeah, it reminded me a little also of, I think it's Caiaphas, his monologue about Jesus must die. That one's kind of spoken sung too.
Was he the one with the mushroom-shaped hat or the one with the dildo-shaped hat?
I think he had the dildo hat.
Okay.
It's a little hard to keep straight.
It really is. They don't ever really say their names. You just have to assume you know who they are. Assume you know the story of Jesus. Which they're assuming a lot.
I've never heard the term shepherd's delight before.
Is that supposed to be like afternoon delight? I have a feeling it's supposed to be like afternoon delight.
That's exactly what I was just playing in my head.
I assumed it was sex outdoors.
I don't know.
Is that, okay, so British listeners, is that like a Britishism? Do people just talk about shepherd's delight, or did they make this up?
There's Noel Fielding.
He's just doing another role.
See, they're kind of nodding to the hats a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Some ostentatious hats.
I wish I knew who some of these people are. Like, one of the women, I think she plays one of the wise men. Is it her? No, it's not her. But I think one of them is April, the girl that plays April in the IT crowd.
It is Lucy Montgomery. And one of them is Sophie Winkleman, who is, I believe, Big Suze on Peep Show.
Is it? How did I not notice that?
Now I'm looking that up. Yeah, Big Suze.
That's not her, is it? She's the one that plays April on the IT crowd.
You put a beard on someone, you can't tell anymore.
Right. This is Noel's one big line. It's funny, too, because Noel can sing. So, like, he had no singing role in this at all. Except for this.
He's like, hey, guys, I can sing. And they're like, nah, we're good.
Yeah. They're like, okay, you could be a shepherd. We'll give you a line.
Grooving along there.
And actually, I'm not even sure that's him singing.
It's not even him. I don't think it's him.
Completely dubbed. I don't know.
It almost sounds like Rich Folger, but maybe not.
It's so hard to tell.
It doesn't sound like him.
And the credits are of no use whatsoever.
No. I can't believe this wasn't more of a hit. I can't believe it didn't get more traction.
I mean, it is pretty Nietzsche.
It's very.
Yeah.
Slightly manic look in his eyes.
It'd be funny if somebody was just horrified. Oh.
This part where they fade to white, they did that in Jesus Christ Superstar too. And not in this exact way, but at the end, they're
right, and they all switch to white outfits.
Yeah.
When Jesus dies, and they have rockin' outfits.
Mm-hmm. This song is so dramatic.
I've watched this more times than I can count, and this song always gets me, just the way they are emoting with everything they've got.
They really gave it all. They sold it.
It's just all so good.
We don't get to hear Matt saying this low very often. With that low, deep voice.
He kind of went that low in his range at points during Opium, which would have been a year or so after this.
Well, he did say some of this could have fit on Opium, so...
Yeah, I can see
there you go.
Now I feel reborn.
This line.
The sheep that's been shorn.
The little nod sells it.
Yep. It's so sincere.
There's absolutely nothing that provokes this change of heart beyond they see a baby. And yes, I know that baby is Jesus, but
they don't know that baby is like the savior. They don't know anything about it. There's no backstory whatsoever. And he says, you've been so far from home. Really? Where has she been? Because there's no evidence that she's left this little town.
It's just, it turns out that Tony Iscariot was a good guy all along.
Tony Iscariot.
He seemed like a douche.
Okay, the
He wasn't a
climax.
douche.
Yeah. This song, it really reminds me of, like,
good.
Barry Manilow or something.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like Mandy or something like that.
Beautiful.
The poorly synchronized hand movements.
Yeah.
This-
I feel like it would be really easy to do something like this because you're just like, have no rhythm and do random things. And I would be like,
I don't know.
can
It's
do
probably
that.
harder to not sync it than you would think it is.
But it's not, like, obviously parts of it are intentionally clumsy, but the music's not.
No, the music is really
No.
good. I mean, the lyrics, some of them are stupid, but they're supposed to be.
You
But
don't
the actual
find
music is so good.
Been so far from home like a dog without a bone moving.
I love that when Julian's just doing that little thing
Yeah.
out of like context.
And Richard Iowati is
Yeah.
just jamming. That's supposed
Fucking
to
giving
totally
it.
be Simon from the movie. I swear to God. He's doing those over-the-top 70s dance moves.
Yeah.
Who
And
knew
why
that
did
Richard
they just
Iowati
start
had that in
singing
him?
Making Love? Why are they just switch it to Making Love right now?
I mean, this is obviously
not?
Superstar. Just the frantic dance.
Yeah, the frantic dancing. Yeah.
I have to imagine this is how these people dance all the time. Like, if you were to
Yeah.
unleash
Yeah.
them at the club,
This
is
is
what
like
you would
totally
see.
Yeah.
Matt's normal dancing.
Yeah, if you can get Richard drunk enough that he's dancing, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
But right there, that's Richard at the club, 2 a.m., last call.
It's perfect. Like, the whole thing is absolute perfection.
Dig on this.
See, that's just kind of crossing mythologies.
It really is.
Yeah.
Did I just call the
It's
Bible
so
of
incredible.
mythology? I guess I did.
You went there.
Well,
Oops.
His face. Oh my gosh.
and then the snow in Jerusalem.
Yes, the snow trees.
That had to be falling in their mouths.
End scene.
Oh, and then you get the end credits. You find out what happened to them, which just makes it all better.
Yeah.
The American Graffiti of nativity stories.
Yes.
The introduction of continental breakfast kills me. And Ruth's all of her.
And then this is like a really long paragraph I really liked.
You have to like pause it to read the whole thing. Jesus
But they
and
lost
Joseph
touch.
Christ tried to keep
That's
in
my
contact with the
favorite
innkeeper,
thing.
but they lost touch.
That's
Just
my
the fact that
favorite.
they
That's
felt-
my favorite.
That they
That
had
was
to-
important to specify.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you get the end credits, which I urge you to just pause and read them so you can see everybody that's in it, because it is kind of a who's who from that time period.
Such a stack cast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did we see like that there's the Westminster Choir or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So funny.
Where they found the budget. I guess they're universities.
Oh, here he goes.
So-
He
Oh, here we
unlocks,
go. Here we go.
unlocks the
Unlocks.
piano and plays us out.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim Wind. Brilliant.
Baby cow.
It's more brilliant every time I
Let's
watch it.
everybody clap at home and everywhere. Just clap. Oh, there we go.
So good. We did
And
it.
we did it.
We did our
it,
first
guys.
ever watch through. That's amazing. You'll have to let us know
That
if
was
you
very
like
exciting.
it. You know, maybe we can do this again in the future with something else.
I was just gonna say we're gonna do all of Toast of London, all of Garth Marenghi,
Right.
like just gonna do everything.
We're gonna
People
do-
will love
We're gonna
it.
go back through Matt's entire. Once we're finished with the, once we're finished with all the albums and we run out of things to talk about,
Yeah.
we're just gonna go back through Matt's entire acting catalog and we'll just
videography. Yeah.
revisit everything.
6 episodes of Snuffbox.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
I don't see why that's
One
a
track
problem.
lover.
Yes.
I mean, it,
An
it
entire
all seems-
episode about One Track Lover.
It all seems perfectly logical to me.
It's all fair game.
Yeah.
As long as we entertain ourselves, that's all honestly that we started this for. We're just glad that anybody listens, truly. So.
We're actually shocked and amazed that anybody listens.
Yeah.
Grateful.
Yeah.
Very, very grateful.
And make it a Christmas tradition for my husband and I. It's this and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the original claymation type of one. We watch that every year. And then God bless my husband and his memory, because I was like, oh, we're doing ADBC, and he's like, what's that? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
We literally watch it every year.
Once a year, he's like, oh yeah? And then he saw some of it, and he was like, oh yeah, like I remember that. I'm like, I fucking hope so. Dear God.
Well, thank you as always for listening. If you're here with us today, you probably know where to find us, but just in case you don't, we'll remind you, we are on social under Obsessed Obscure on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, more recently Mastodon and Hive Social, and we have an active Discord channel. What am I forgetting?
I don't know. Don't expect a lot from Mastodon and Hive yet, because we've literally not posted anything. It was
We're
mostly
just trying to hedge our bets.
Preempt Twitter.
Right.
Our Discord's good. Come on,
Melting down.
Discord.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, we've had
Discord's
some
great.
fun discussions.
Yeah, and as always,
Yeah.
we'll post the links for all of the interviews, and even ones that we didn't get a chance to talk about. There's more stuff where Matt talks about Jesus Christ Superstar and ADBC, as well as the Culture Show. We'll post all those links. So,
And
good
tell
job,
us
girls.
what we missed.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that
Yep.
there are
Yeah,
plenty of
exactly.
Easter eggs that we did not catch, and we want to hear from you about what you noticed as well.
yes, please do that. So as of now, we will be back in the new year with something special, something different. And
Yeah.
we hope
Full of surprises.
Yeah, full of surprises.
Yeah.
I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. We hope it's happy, and have a Happy New Year.
A very,
See you
very
in
Christmas
2023.
to you all.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Me and Christopher Lee. I think my heart now beats for three.